take no experience lightly. Take them all for a value that you can get and gain that other people may never be able to appreciate like you will in your future. All right? Close that door. David, close that door over there. Thank you so much. Look at somebody and say, little things, mean much. Look at somebody and say, little things, mean much. Touch somebody else and say, pay attention, to the details. Pay attention to what? The details. Pay attention to the details. It's emphatic that we pay attention to the details. Always have people around you that look for the details. When you got to start pointing out things and doing all that stuff, and things should be symbolic, get people that pay attention to what? Details. It is details that make the business happen. There's a great book in my library that talks about 50 ways to keep your customers happy. It's a book that was specialized at Kinko's, FedEx Kinko's, and they had it in there. You may have brought it from there. You may have seen it at other stores. And it opens up with a story that begins to talk about a person who had cleaners, and they did not take care of one customer who, for some reason, had an item that was damaged, and they fought over whether or not they should pay for the item that was damaged. And the cleaners refused to pay for the item that's damaged, and that one person led either other people to stop going and supporting the cleaners, or stop becoming the avid supporter or announcer of this cleaners. And it talked about that, listen to me, this one person stopped 17 other people from giving their business, which meant it was over $40,000 they lost a year because they didn't take care of one customer. Did y'all hear me? And because one customer had a complaint and they lost over $40,000, close to $48,000, which meant in a 10-year period, they lost $500,000 off of one customer. Do you see why people need to treat people right? You never know who's coming to your business and what they're going to bring to it. And if you don't treat them right and you don't take care of them and you don't feel their sensitivity and their needs, you can expunge a lot of potential that you should have in your future. And it's damaging because it becomes redundant. And eventually, what are you seeing? You're seeing millions of dollars walking out and never coming back. Did y'all catch that picture? Just one customer. Every person does not come for the same reason, nor does every person come with the same potential. But every person comes to be treated right. Oh, we all know that because we've been treated wrong, haven't we? And because we have been treated wrong, we know how people should be treated right. Is that right? Okay, so let's get into this next section because we need to deal with it. We have a good piece of progress that we need to make real quick. Let's start the page number 62. Let's jump up there, and we're going to go quickly, and then I'm going to get to some Q&A. And while I was just reviewing some things while you're getting to 62, I just want to touch base with you primarily because, and in reference to safeties, I want to close this mindset about safety. Somebody say safety. Safety. Come on, say safety. Safety. Now, the reason why I was stressing it earlier is because I said to you, I have to learn, and I have learned many years ago, how to have money I don't touch. Now, I need you all to grab that, which means you keep money on you you don't touch. It's a discipline for you. Therefore, know what happens? You sit there and you say, I manage from one portion and I don't from another. Amen. So that means if you keep, let's just say, $500 on you that's cash, and you use that as a safety or emergency money, if you would, and you keep it on you, and you only use it when it is a what? Emergency. Then that means all the other resources that you have on you, whether it's $131 worth of cash in your pocket and your Visa debit card that has X number of dollars in the bank, you manage your expenditures out of that resource, not out of the $500 of what? Emergency money. But if you keep on dipping into your emergency, you will always keep creating emergencies. See, the law, and I want you to gravitate to this, the law of being able to do something greater in terms of your life and your focus is being able to tell yourself no. So if you look at your Visa debit card and you know that the money's not in there, and you look at your wallet and you open up and the money's not in there, what do you tell yourself? No. Even though the emergency money could pay for it, it's not an emergency, and you still tell yourself what? No. But if you go into your emergency money and start paying for it, you create another emergency and then another emergency and another emergency. And you know what happens? The discipline of being able to say no to what I have keeps me saying no to what I need to keep. Did you all get that? Okay, let me break it down. If over here, and I want you to hear this because you're going to need this, when the more your business grows, the more fluidity of resources you're going to need to be able to manage capital resources so that you could have things in place. In other words, if there is, and for instance, there are times where there may be a bad weather Sunday. And the bad weather Sunday has been in history. It either snows in Washington and there's no service, or it rains real hard in Atlanta and folk don't want to pull out umbrellas and mess up their hairdo they got 12 hours beforehand. Don't want to come through Noah's Ark experiences. And so they don't come to church. So when they don't come to church, then, you know, there's no giving. When there's no giving, there's still payroll. Yeah, there is. And guess what happens? The church must learn how to put money aside for expenditures that are unseen but will be seen if needed to be seen. Y'all ain't say nothing. Corporate expenses, the more you start putting responsibility, because you got to remember, when you hire somebody, you're responsible for the food on their table. So you got to deny yourself. I didn't get a lot of happy expressions right there. You got to deny yourself to make sure somebody else has. And that's not always easy, and some of you know what I'm talking about. You denied yourself vacations, you denied yourself gifts, you denied yourself access to things because you have to say no so you don't touch resources because you're going to need them there just in case something doesn't go right. So the Lord is going to have to teach some of us how to say no to things we have so that we can be prepared to keep things we need. I said something huge right there. If you need a bank account of $150,000 that will eventually be your what? Safety for your corporation, because what if the check doesn't come that you're waiting on? And you got to pay the rent, you got to pay the staff, you got to pay the product inventory, you got to pay the utilities. And something happened where the check didn't show up for 3 weeks. How is your corporation going to run? How's the telephones going to stay on? How's the electric going to be in place? How's the water going to keep flowing? How's the inventory going to stay to the place to meet the demand? It happens by what you have kept because you've been disciplined to say no to other things that could take what you should be keeping prepared for the future. Y'all looking at me funny, that ain't good. All right. Would you put those lights up, please, right there on that side? Thank you so much. You see who has to pay attention to the details? Don't I look brighter right now? Woo, this is hands-on teaching right now. This is a real classroom. It's the little things. I'm proving to you, you can have people that do it all the time and still forget to do it. And you have to be prepared for people that forget to do what have to do. You got to pay attention to the little things. The little things. The little things.